I understand the W linear drill has its roots in baseball, where it's an agility drill specifically for fielders who are required to, amongst other things, transition from backwards running to forwards running as the ball is in flight. I chose this drill because, as the brief stated, I had never encountered it before. In particular, I've never really worked on backpedaling, something which I think becomes quite clear in the footage of me. As you can see, the drill begins with a back pedal, before accelerating forwards into a forward sprint, transitioning again to a back pedal and then to a final forward sprint. Something which I noticed straight away was how different the back pedal mechanics of the model demo were compared to my attempt. Here, the athlete retains the forward athletic position and takes long, powerful strides when moving backwards. In contrast, I had my centre of gravity way back, almost behind my base of support, causing me to almost lose balance several times. On top of this, I also seem to take short, choppy strides, which look far less efficient than the demo athlete. This was my first attempt at the drill. Here you can see how upright and unbalanced I am in comparison to the demo video. Another issue I had, aside from people constantly walking past the camera, was the lack of traction on the floor. Because of this, I appear to be taking short stutter steps to try and prevent me sliding when I'm changing direction. Clearly this would have marked implications when integrating it into athletic practice. Whilst it could be argued that if they can master the drill when they have poor traction, then when they have good traction they should be better, I disagree with this, as aside from an increased risk of injury, it is changing the footwork pattern too much and introducing potentially detrimental habits. With that in mind then, when implementing this drill as part of practice, I would want to make sure that the area used has sufficient traction to enable the athlete to be able to exert high ground reaction forces without fear of slipping. This would allow the correct learning of the movement pattern. Once this has been mastered, if the athletic event demanded movement in an environment with poor traction, such as certain tactical terrains for example, I would practice these separately as an extension of this drill. This was recorded later in the week following some practice. Unfortunately, as the sports hall was being used, I performed the drill out on the grass whilst wearing studs. This meant it probably isn't fair to draw a direct comparison between the two videos, as the surface is very different. However, I feel it does emphasise the importance of having good traction when practising and performing these drills. In this video, whilst my backpedaling is still poor, not quite sure what's going on with my arms there, my changes in direction are far smoother. On top of that, you can see that my centre of gravity is moving more efficiently over my base of support, particularly when transitioning from backpedaling to forward sprinting. I think a lot can be said for just practising a drill. Spending time getting used to lean angles and the speed at which I could go into a direction change while still maintaining my balance was a useful exercise, as it allowed me to get closer to my current capacity limits. Because of this, I really think that an athlete could learn a great deal simply by practising this closed skill and just gaining confidence in their movement ability. One of the things which came out of simply allowing myself time to practice the drill was that after several attempts I didn't have to concentrate so hard on the basic movement. This allowed me to begin noticing certain aspects of my movement. One of the things I noticed on looking back at my early practice attempt and comparing it to the model demo was that when I transitioned from a back pedal to a forward sprint, I tended to plant my foot out at 90 degrees to my intended direction of travel. Not only is this going to apply unnecessary lateral force to the knee structure, it's also going to prevent a stretch reflex from taking place at the ankle complex, thus robbing me of valuable ground reaction force. With that in mind, I practiced the drill slowly, trying to utilise a, sorry for saying this Dan, toes forward turning style, before gradually increasing the speed of the drill. To conclude, I found this exercise extremely useful. Not only is this an area that I don't tend to coach much, but also I haven't practiced it much either. The main takeaway I have from this is that practicing simple drills, initially slowly and in a controlled environment, would allow an athlete to develop and then hone efficient movement patterns prior to having them tested on the field of play. Thanks for your time, guys.